Last night's episode of 90 Day Fiancé, The Single Life, took a very interesting turn when it came to Pedro finally introducing Sophie to his sister and as well as his mother. But before we get into that one though, we're going to begin with Kimberly. Kimberly decides to tell Larry for the first time that he actually has a sister as well as Jamal. So let's see how that planned out. Very interesting ways here.
I've been waiting for my mom to tell Larry about my sister. I want to get closer with my brother like this because the secret was eating at me. I just felt bad getting closer to him while hiding something from him.
Don't know.
You know, in life, if you want to lie, if you want to withhold the truth, it's one thing to do that so it impacts you. But when it involves impacting other people who don't want to do that, that's a problem. I mean, in reality, when you lie, it does always impact someone. But sometimes it impacts people worse than others. Now, the point being is that because Kimberly decides to hold back this information regarding Larry knowing that he's also got a sister, this has prevented Jamal from wanting to build a relationship with his brother straight away. Why? Because he doesn't want to build a relationship with his brother based on the foundation of not being 1000% transparent. So I respect that from Jamal. But at the same time, this is something that Kimberly should be looking at and saying to herself, I can't believe that I'm putting my son in this position. Her and Jamal have already had their fallout due to this information anyway alone. So for her to now put him in a position where he also has to not tell his brother, his big brother, it's not a good one. You know, it's like parents playing kids off each other.
What Larry is going to think about me once I tell him this news. I'm scared that he's going to judge me.
This is Kimberly's biggest issue. She's always worried about people judging her. And because she's worried about people judging her, she would decide she would prefer to either lie or withhold information because she's afraid of a reaction. You cannot live a life being afraid of other people's opinions. Like, this woman is 50 plus and she's still worried about other people's opinions. Have you not lived life long enough to recognize that other people's opinions are just opinions? And sometimes opinions can be good for you and sometimes opinions can be bad for you. But those that hide from opinions, that hide from judgment, really expose how much that person is not mature. It really exposes how that person isn't somebody that likes accountability. It's somebody that prefers to be moving mad rather than being reality ready. But let's continue.
What if he just turns around and leaves? What if he never speaks to me again?
Screw over.
I have another daughter that I put up for adoption. Please donate me. Please, this is so hard and I don't think anybody can understand.
Power of words. You see what she's doing here? She's trying to play as if she's the victim. As if she's been done wrong by. I don't think you can understand. What? I'm sorry, but you gave up Larry for adoption. Luckily, Larry was raised in a very, very good family, clearly, because of the man he's presented himself to be. But regardless of the fact that he was raised in a family that was good for him, it doesn't change the fact that he's still the victim of your actions. Point being is that instead of telling Larry with her chest and saying, listen, I didn't know if I was ever going to see you again, but now you're back in my life, I've got to tell you something. And I've got to let you know that Jamal isn't your only sibling. You've also got a sister too that was also born. That's it. But to put on this whole crying act, this theatre of madness, it's not needed. If anything, Larry's probably looking at you thinking, I don't know if I can ever respect this woman. I feel like each time she wants to tell me something, she always has to make it into a big deal of how she's been done wrong by her, rather than the fact that she made a choice 34 years ago, and rather than growing and learning and standing by it, she's rather sitting there saying, oh my God, I must, come on now. Power of words, really trying to play that card of please feel sorry for me, but please understand that I'm not the villain here. Yo, Larry has spent 30 plus years without you and he still wanted to meet you. Trust me, there's nothing that you can say that's going to put him off you unless you're acting like this.
Holding the information from me, I mean, it's shocking, don't get me wrong. I wish she wouldn't have done it, but she's my birth mother and she gave me a life, gave me an opportunity to have two beautiful kids, you know, and I will never take that for granted.
So this is why I like Larry, you know, and this is what I'm saying. He's had many years to think about how he's going to, you know, approach you, how he's going to go about things. He's been raised by people that have obviously looked after him very well. But at the same time, he still wanted to know who his mother was because he still wanted to at least give you a chance. But the chance he's given you is a chance based on you just being 1000% transparent with him so he can respect you rather than you doing this. What are you doing? You don't know what I had to go through. What? What? I don't think anybody can understand. What? I didn't realize the world revolved around you, but okay. Either way though, shout out to Larry so far. And also shout out Jamal, because the way Jamal and Larry have handled the situation has been very, very mature. It tells us one simple thing, that they both got on this trait clearly from their father, who I guess was a deadbeat, but I guess there's certain traits about him that's in them that's made them both similar in handling a situation. Because they definitely didn't get that from Kimberly. And Larry definitely didn't get none of it from his adopted parents.
As the one you're coming to tell him, you don't have to beat yourself up about it every day. Not now. It's out. We just move on. We go from here. You know what I'm saying?
See, he's letting her know that, and I hope she's paying attention, because he was just literally saying that, listen, I'm just happy that we're having a conversation, and I'm just happy that you're telling me things 100%. That's all I came for.
Now the only thing left to do is find my daughter. I don't know who she is. I don't know where she is, but you better believe I'm going to try.
See, the only thing is, though, is that Kimberly has to be quite... So this is the issue here. There is a potential chance that if she has found her daughter, or if she ever will find her daughter may reject her. Because her daughter may have had a different upbringing, an upbringing that's made her potentially become resentful. We don't know this. My point being is that if she was to go with this approach to her daughter and be like, I don't think you understand what I had to go through, blah, 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 blah. And let's say that daughter's been through hell and back. She's going to spit in your face and say, how dare you come into my life? How dare you find me and tell me how hard it was for you to give me up when I've been in this life where it's been hell, nothing but just horrible for me. Now, hopefully that's not the case. But my point being is your approach is very key. So I hope that if she does find her daughter, or if her daughter finds her, the approach from Kimberly can be more to the point of, I know I gave you up. I gave you up for these reasons, but I wanted to find you because it's important that you know that you have siblings. It may be too late, but I just wanted to let you know this, okay? That's it. Do what you will with this information. That's it. Say it with your chest. And the daughter has a choice how she wants to respond. But the most important thing is she will respect you, though, for reaching out. She may question you. She may be like, so if Larry never found you, was there a chance that you was never going to actually tell me? Because Jamal said the same thing. He said that if Larry was never here, you probably would have never told me the truth. Which is a fact. Right? But you have to be ready for those type of conversations. When you make a big choice regarding giving your child for adoption, which isn't a bad thing. It's an amazing thing, because there's people out there who can't have kids, who deserve kids. So adoption is an amazing thing for those people. Nothing wrong with it in any shape or form. You did it twice. Listen, you made a choice that you felt was best twice. It is what it is. That's fine. No one can take that choice away from you. But how you handle it when they find you or you find them is very key. Woman up. Come on. This is embarrassing. But like I said before, good thing is Larry handled it well. Jamal also seems to be handling it well, which is fantastic. With the sister, we don't know. But approach it properly. Now, we're going to move on to the next one, is something particular. Now, we're going to talk about Gino and Natalie. Let's dive into this one.
I really thought I was done with Gino, but the reality is that Gino and I are not in a committed relationship. And I think I may have overreacted.
Is this woman okay? Nah. Fine definition of somebody moving mad. What do you mean you overreacted? Did she forget why she reacted that way? Let's rewind. Let's have a flashback. Gino lied to you about his relationship with Jasmine when he was first introduced to us on TV. Because the fact that he didn't tell you the full truth, what happened? You walked away because you understood your worth. Your worth. Sometimes gone by, this man reaches out to you, invites you to come and see him in Michigan. Because he wants to see if maybe something can happen here. In that same breath, you then find out that he's still talking to other women. Yes, you're single. Yes, you're able to do what you want. But he invited you because of something that he did wrong and he wanted to give you a chance. No, sorry. So he was hoping that you'd give him a chance. But so point being is, it's a massive disrespect for someone to bring you back in their life if they're already pursuing other people. That's the bottom line. So the fact that she's saying that she was moving mad is bonkers. But is she moving mad for saying that she was moving mad? Yes, she is. Bonkers.
Well, what I want to do is I don't want to speak to any other women anymore. Relationship and building our relationship. You know, I don't want to risk losing you. I think if I continue to talk to a bunch of women, that's probably...
It's only been 2 weeks since we last talked about it.
Let's let that sink in. It took him 2 weeks to recognize that Natalie's the one that he wanted to be with. Natalie's the one that he wanted to give a try with. You know what's interesting about these 2 weeks? That's a very long time. That length should have been enough for her to say, 2 weeks, yeah? No, I'm good. Because 2 weeks is 14 days, yes? When people break up, some people will find someone to sleep with the same day they break up with somebody. Some people, maybe they're going to date them the very next day. Some people maybe 3 or 4 or 5 days later. Point being is, he's had 14 days to think about this, which means in those 14 days, you don't know if he has gone on 1 or 2 or 3 dates with different women, and none of those dates have worked out because women have decided to reject him. So therefore, he decided to contact you as a last resort. He's contacted you because he's thinking none of these women actually want me. I've tried, but they're all just message. They all just want to be pen pals, basically. And the ones that I've met have met me in person and realized that I ain't shiz. So let me give her another chance. So really and truly, you might just be the last ditch effort. 2 weeks, you're mad. Absolutely mad. Unless he's got a very valid reason why it's taking him 2 weeks, a reason that you can believe, and you know he's telling the truth, fair enough. Honestly, talk about lack of self-worth, self-awareness.
So I am skeptical. You know, he can say a lot of things, but he needs to show me by his actions.
Do you have
She has spoken about Gino showing his actions several times, and each time you say that, he disappoints you with his actions. So what are we doing here?
children?
Yeah, I have 2.
No kidding.
I have a daughter, she's 23, and a son, he's 21.
What? Do you want to have a baby with her?
Well, always wanted to have a child of my own.
Yeah.
But
How a conversation about children is even in the conversation is bizarre. She just said that she already has fully grown children. What makes you think that she's going to want to have a child?
right? Question is, would you be open to it, you think?
I mean, that's an insane thing to even think about, because we just established today that you're not talking to other women. And Marco is very interesting. I don't think he realizes how old I am. I don't think he realizes that ship has sailed.
It's funny though, because why didn't she just say that? Why didn't you say to Marco, hey, I already had 2 kids, me having kids anymore, not something that I want to do. And even if I wanted to do it, potentially a menopause has already happened, so it's not going to happen. Simple as 1, 2, 3. But Gino, on the other hand,
You know, I just want to make sure that, is he capable of not talking to other women?
If he finds the right lady, I believe that man will be faithful.
the fact that she's in a position where she has to ask this question tells everything that you need to know. If you're with somebody and you have to ask their family, friends, whoever the hell is around them, hey, do you know if so-and-so can be loyal to me? That's already showing you that this isn't a good, this man or this person isn't good for you. And Gino's already showed her this multiple times. And also, why would she believe anything that Uncle Mark has to say? He's his family, for goodness sake. Of course he's going to back Gino. Now, Gino did joke or did what? I don't know if he was joking or being serious, but he did say to Natalie, but there's always other ways we can have children. But this is the interesting part, though, regarding children. Jasmine, on Between the Sheets, had something interesting to say regarding Gino and kids. Let's have a listen.
I know Gino hates kids, okay? He doesn't like kids around. He hates noise. He hates spending money. He hates all the things that are children related.
You know, when she started talking and then she ended up that part there saying he hates anything, like when she spoke about money, I said it makes sense. Why would a man that doesn't like spending money want children? Because children are expensive. So I was like, maybe Jasmine is telling the truth, but let's listen some more.
It's empty words. It's empty promises. What do you think that the dude is almost 60 and still to today, after multiple relationships, he never had kids?
I guess maybe he's just good at birth control. Maybe that's why he hasn't got no kids. Or maybe the women that he's been with just didn't want kids with him the same way you, Jasmine, didn't want kids with him. But to be fair, she does raise a very, very good question. How comes out of all these women that you've been with, a child has not happened? But then again, is it a really good question? Because again, if he's good at, birth control, whatever, safe sex, that's the one. If he's good at it, then it makes sense, right? I don't really feel like that reason explains anything. But at the same time, I can understand why it may give us a hint that maybe having kids is something that he's never truly cared for. Unless he's got kids and he just doesn't know about it, because the women that he had kids with just don't want to know him. So they're like, nah, I'm good. I can imagine a woman getting pregnant with Gino and they're never telling him, to be honest with you, because they just don't want Gino in their life. You never know. But yeah, it is a good question. And also, to be fair, Gino was married once upon a time before Jasmine with a woman. So again, why did they not have kids in that relationship? That is a very key question, to be fair with you. And we know that Gino probably enjoys using his money more for buying women than he does for children, because we know that this man has an issue with always paying women around him. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. But hey, either way though, that's what Jasmine's had to say, which is rather interesting. But now we're going to dive into Sophie and Pedro. Yeah, this one is where things get very, very explosive.
The last thing that I want is for my mom and my sister is scare Sophie away.
She's famous because my brother has talked to me about her. No, she's famous for me. Yeah, Sophie, you're making my brother suffer right now.
So Pedro starts off by saying that, I don't want, Sophie and my siblings or my family to get off on a bad start. But here's the thing though, he's the one that set up this whole situation. He's literally, Pedro set up the perfect ambush, the perfect trap for Sophie to be grilled by her family. Because what did he do? He went and told his sister that Sophie is hot and cold with me, and that Sophie has told me that it is okay for both of us to still go date other people. Now, at that moment in time, when he went for that advice, and he went to see what his sister said, that was the moment he already tarnished Sophie's image in his family's eyes. Now, was it a bad thing, or was it a good thing? We'll get into that one further down in this video. But just know, Pedro, you're the one that set up Sophie for this ambush.
First, as soon as I walk in, Pedro's sister's making me uncomfortable. And then I have his mom just saying I should have sex with Pedro. Like, divorcio?
I mean, honestly, make it make sense. It's actually quite wild that the mom had the audacity to say that if you sleep with my son, that maybe you like him. You don't like him right now because you haven't tasted him. Who says that? That's, ugh.
Pero está casada legalmente.
Legalmente en este momento sí.
No bien que tú tengas esté casada y él te salga. Está muy mal.
Pedro's been
Yeah, the family are massive hypocrites. Do they forget now? I guess because he wasn't proven to be true, I guess it didn't happen, right? But we do know the last time we saw Pedro and Chantel on the family Chantel, what happened? During the process, Chantel had suspicions that Pedro had cheated on her with his work colleague, because he would stay out late at night. More of the situation was this man was fully married, not separated, and there was allegations of him sleeping with or having an affair with one of his work employees. Again, was never proven, but either way though, the fact that mom is coming in here and saying that Sophie's wrong for trying to date her son while she's still married is crazy work. To be honest, if you listen, if people are separated, why the hell should you wait into a divorce until you start to, mingle other people? Like, divorces don't happen overnight, Some people's divorce can take over a freaking year, if not longer than that. It just depends on who the hell you're divorcing. Nah, the mom's moving mad for that. There was no need for that.
been through and his failed marriage and everything, you would think his family want him to be happy and find someone. But it feels like they're just trying to sabotage any chance he has.
Little does Sophie know. I mean, listen, we can argue and say that maybe the family would have behaved this way regardless, but little does Sophie know, Pedro's the one that sabotaged this whole thing. It wasn't actually, it's not them. They're just acting on what Pedro has told them. He sabotaged you with this ridiculous trap.
It's something that I feel really concerned about Sophie. Pedro told me, like, a day you are cold, a day you are hot, not keep me away.
Why do you need to be so involved? Like, that's his relationship. Like,
the reason why the sister feels the need to be involved, well, to be fair, most siblings would want to be involved, give or take, right? But again, it subjectively depends on the context. But in this context, she wants to be involved because her brother went to her. Her brother went to her and told her everything that you two had been talking about. And that's why she's inserting herself. Pedro gave her the keys. And Sophie finds that out in a second.
It doesn't really have anything, respectfully doesn't have anything to do with here. I just need to know what is happening here because he's calling me and telling me everything you're doing. Respectfully, what is happening?
Okay, so here's the thing. The fact that she's telling you this, she told you everything you need to know about how to proceed moving forward. She just told you that Pedro came to me telling me all of these negative things about you. If you are ever in this position, ladies and gentlemen, understand this is when you really need to consider if you want to continue dating this person or not. Because if you're with somebody that's going to happily tell friends and family negative things about you, you may be in for hell. But context is key. In this type of context, you should be reflecting and thinking, yeah, I don't know if I can be with someone who's going to tell their siblings things about us to the point that they feel like they now have the keys to intervene in our relationship. In this context, be aware. But there are different type of contexts where it is important to tell somebody if you're in a relationship that is domestically unhealthy for you. That's a whole different ballgame. Definitely be open. Yeah. But let's continue.
To do with you. I am just here, concerned about him, and asking you about it. But you get no, you get.
So Pedro, what does he do? He just stands there. He's watching from afar. Does nothing. Allows his sister and the woman that he claims he wants to be with to have a whole argument. And the maddest thing about it is all because of him and his mouth. You see, in this situation, he should have gone there and said, listen, I bought Sophie here because we had a conversation and things are working. But I'm just going to separate you two right now. Tell Sophie go somewhere else. Sister go somewhere else. You're not picking a side. You're just separating. You're just mediating. And then in that situation, you approach Sophie. You say to her, listen, I apologize for this, okay? I told my sister this. I told my sister this before this. And unfortunately, I didn't actually tell her that me and you are on better terms now. This is my fault. I should have spoke to her before inviting you. But he didn't do that. He just let it play out. And then his sister, on the other hand, you should then tell her separately, hey, I know what we spoke about, but me and Sophie had a conversation and we are both now on the same page. That's it. But let's go back to what I said at the very beginning of this whole segment, okay? I said to you folks that Pedro going to his sister to begin with, to have a conversation about Sophie and what they spoke about, was both good and bad. It was good because he needed to go and find out from his sister the point of view and to see what's going on because of how Sophie was treating him. But because he went to his sister, after that, he should have just cut ties with Sophie, right? Because of the conversation that he had regarding his sister, letting him know that this girl does not want you because she's been hot and cold. If she wanted you, she would always be present in your life, but she's not. So you need to bounce. But of course, initially he did decide to listen to that. But then Sophie and Julia had a whole conversation with him and then they decided to change their mind. Now, this is where it can be okay. This is where it was very crucial for him to tell his sister that, listen, I had a conversation with Sophie and we're on good terms now, so I'm going to bring her to your party. Please don't cause any madness because we've had the conversation. We're on the same page. So this situation with the sister and Sophie could have been avoided if Pedro had spoken to her beforehand. Now listen, I get it. When it comes to Pedro's family, we don't know what's going to happen. He could probably speak to them and this could probably happen regardless. But within the context of the situation, he is the one that has caused it. That doesn't change. And because he is the one that's caused it, he should have mediated it. But he didn't. He just watched from afar and let it all play out. Honestly, if you're ever around somebody like this, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, I'd advise you to run. But that's a toxic person. It's an unhealthy person. Pedro is somebody that likes to live a life moving mad because he's still pretty much immature here. Will he ever be reality ready to be accountable for his involvement here? Probably not. And also, I'm going to say that just for the sake of it, the sister's had a lot of work done since we last saw her. It's not looking good. I mean, the nose is looking a bit suspect still. Just putting it out there. People, please be careful when you're doing things to your face, okay? You might think you're improving yourself, but you might just be making yourself worse because I don't know what's going on with her face, but it's not looking good in my opinion. And I'm just saying that, not to insult her, just saying that please proceed with caution if you ever decide to do anything to your features that's surgery based. Yeah. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section and we can talk about it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.